Hi everyone, it's Annalise coming to you today from Tokyo. I am on my way to Nagasaki this afternoon for our summer course on nuclear-free futures. Looking forward to continuing that conversation with you. Thinking, as I know all of you are, about the news involving Iran. And one of the things that really has struck me is there's so little talk about international law. I just read Richard Haas's post on Substack in which he talks about 10 points that he wants to make, and not one of them is about the international legality of the US possibly engaging in strikes. So it's not just the folks on the right, it's also on the left that we're not seeing an appeal to the international rules-based order. Under international law, it is clear there are certain standards by which military strikes are permitted, and those are pursuant to a Security Council resolution of the UN. In immediate self-defense, something the U.S. can't possibly claim in this case, or possibly on humanitarian grounds. It's pretty clear that if the U.S. wants to attack Iran under international law, it's going to have to get the approval of the UN Security Council, as it did in the case of the Iraq War. And there's almost no talk about that at all by any of the commentators. Now, what does this mean? Does it mean that we've totally abandoned our interest in or commitment to the international rules-based order? That, to me, would be a really disturbing development. I was recently in Toronto, and I was reading the speech that Prime Minister Carney gave 2 weeks ago at the University of Toronto, and he talked about the decline of a rules-based international order. But he also talked about an emerging network of states that are demonstrating their commitment to this. Canada, European nations, Japan, and you certainly feel that here in Tokyo, that there is still a commitment to those norms and a sense that there's an interest in joining a coalition with a new emerging group of states that will demonstrate that commitment. As Prime Minister Carney said, we have agency in this, even as the decay is happening. Well, okay, to turn a little bit to lighter topics, I just had breakfast here in Tokyo. What did I have for breakfast? I had delicious okra with sesame seeds on it, some sauteed eggplant and tofu, a broiled fish, some sashimi, and some fruit. And the people next to me were Brits, and they insisted on ordering their standard English breakfast, which is fine. But I think one of the joys of travel is really to experience breakfast as it's experienced in different countries. So if you're traveling this summer, if it's in Paris, have a croissant. If it's in Tokyo, have some broiled fish, because you just have a different sense of being in the place when you start the day with a breakfast that's local. Okay, see you next week from Nagasaki. Have a great week, everyone.